OTAs start this week, and the 49ers' first practice that will be open to the media will be on Thursday. Here are 10 things to watch. 1, will Trent Williams be there? They said he was at phase 1 of the offseason program, but they didn't actually take a picture of him or show any physical evidence that he was there. He hasn't posted on social media or spoken publicly since October. I just want to see him with my own 2 eyes. Is he there? Is he practicing? Is he wearing the 49ers uniform? Is he in shape? Is he healthy? Are his ankles okay? That would be good to get visual confirmation, because then I could take this team a lot more seriously. Without Trent Williams, if Andre Dillard is a starting left tackle, hard to predict this team to win more than 7 games. So I want to see Trent Williams, and is he practicing? That's the other thing. It'd be nice to see him actually participating. I know he's old and he doesn't need to, but this is a team that's trying to re-emphasize practice habits and the process over results. And he's the best player. He's the oldest player. He's the future Hall of Famer. If he practices, that sets the tone. So I'd like to see, is he there and is he practicing? 2, what's the plan at left guard? Who's going to start at left guard? It was Aaron Banks. It was Laken Tomlinson. They always had a pretty big investment in that position. Then this year, they let Banks go, and they don't sign anyone to replace him. They didn't really draft anyone to replace him, unless you think 7th-round pick Connor Colby is in the mix. He might be. What they did was they re-signed Banks' backup, Ben Bartch, who is a bit of an unknown. He's had injuries throughout his career. He was Banks' backup last year. If the Niners thought he was better than Banks, he'd probably be playing over Banks, unless you think the Niners purposely play inferior players, which, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Bartch is better, but he's going to have to win this job. I would imagine there's going to be a competition. Him, Connor Colby, the rookie, and Spencer Burford. Spencer Burford's 24 years old. He started a bunch of games in the league. He's never been particularly good at guard. He played right guard. Maybe he'd be better at left guard. Maybe he's growing into his body. I mean, they're paying him $3.4 million in base salary this year, as opposed to Bartch, who's getting about 1.1. So they're much more invested in Burford. I'm curious to see who gets the first reps at left guard on Thursday. Then 3, safety. What's the plan there? They had Talanoa Hufanga. They let him go because I guess he was too expensive, even though he's only 25 years old, signed a 3-year, $39 million contract with Denver, and replaced him with Malik Mustafa, who they drafted last year. Really good player, explosive, 22. Problem is, he tore his ACL week 18. They knew this. They let Talanoa Hufanga leave anyway. And now Mustafa's not going to be out there in OTAs on the field. He probably won't be out there for the first few games, at least, the regular season. So who are the starting safeties on this team? Really, is it Jair Brown and Jason Pinnock, or is Richie Grant in there somewhere, or do the Niners even know? Are they going to have some type of competition, some type of rotation? Because right now, that's looking like the worst safety group in the division, one of the worst in the league. What is the plan there? Or is Jason Pinnock secretly really incredible? Is he the next Jimmy Ward? Is Richie Grant the next Ed Reed? Probably not, but I'd love to see that. Number 4, Ronaldo Green. Maybe you're focused on rookies. Rookies will be interesting, but we saw the rookies already. We've already been exposed to them in rookie minicamp. And now I want to see the second-year players, because to me, they're much more important this season. The 49ers success hinges much more on the improvement of the second-year players than the performance of the rookies. 1 or 2 of the rookies might make a major impact, but usually rookies don't. Second-year players are supposed to. That's when players generally make their biggest leap. Kittle was way better his second year than his first year. Same with Fred Warner. So Ronaldo Green, he's replacing Travarius Ward, who's a top 10 cornerback in the league, went healthy in his prime. Maybe those days are behind him. Maybe not. We'll find out. Ronaldo Green showed flashes last year. He started 7 games, was among the league leaders in pass breakups, which is impressive considering he wasn't playing as much as other cornerbacks. Can he improve? Can he take the next step? Because it looks like he has the kind of talent where he could be one of the best players in the defense. He could be even better than Diamondor Lenore. He's bigger than Lenore. Is he faster than Lenore? Not necessarily, but it'd be a nice compliment. And he's going to be going up against Ricky Pearsall. That's another guy, number 5. What does Ricky Pearsall look like? Last year, he was hurt during the offseason. He never really had enough time to string together practices and prove that he could be a consistent high-level starter. Then he got shot. Then he came back. Then he went through the typical growing pains of a rookie in Kyle Shanahan's offense where your head's swimming and you hear the play and you probably can't really visualize all of it. And maybe you line up in the wrong spot and maybe there's an illegal, formation penalty on that's your fault and you look like an idiot, but you're not. That's where he was at last year. But finally, when Deebo Samuel got phased out of the offense, he had that big 140-yard game against the Lions. Is that him? I mean, I'd like to see it. He's had this whole offseason with Brock Purdy. He's in good shape. He's healthy. Can he stay on the field and be the best player out there in OTAs? OTAs is not going to be – players won't be wearing pads. So you're not going to get a good feel for Mykel Williams or Dominic Pooney. You'll see them. They'll be there working out. But the ones really competing will be wide receivers and cornerbacks, safeties and running backs, tight ends and linebackers in 7-on-7 drills. So Ricky Pearsall should look like one of the best players on the field. Is he better than Jawan Jennings? I mean, he's certainly more explosive. He should be able to dominate these practices, although he's going to be matching up with Bernardo Green, who's really good. So that to me, that matchup was interesting last year in OTAs. It should be even more interesting this year. Then there's other things as well. 6. How about Mac Jones? It's always fun to watch a new quarterback come to a team. He's not going to get reps with the starters. Brock's here. He's signed, and he's going to take those reps. But what does Mac Jones look like compared to Brandon Allen last year, compared to Josh Dobbs last year? Is there a noticeable difference? Because at one time, Mac Jones seemed like an ascending, young, confident, talented quarterback. Now, I mean, he's lost, I want to say, 19 of his last 25 starts. Has he been beaten into what? I mean, does he have any confidence left, or has it been beaten out of him? We'll see. Maybe all he needed was to land in a semi-competent organization. I'm not saying the Niners, but I mean, just like anywhere semi-competent, and maybe he'd be good, because the Patriots were semi-competent when he first got there. Then they fell apart. Then he went to Jacksonville, and they haven't been semi-competent in a long time. Now he's on the Niners, and they're a good organization. As soon as Sam Darnold got here, he rose up. All those years of being mismanaged and mishandled didn't seem to matter anymore. Suddenly, he was a good backup quarterback, someone who could actually go to a team and win 14 games in a 17-game schedule. Impressive. Now, not that he's a great quarterback, but he turned his career around. Can Mac Jones do the same thing? Will we see it at OTAs? How does he play? Is he conservative? When Sam Darnold got here, he would do a lot of checking down. I think he wanted to show the Niners and himself that he wasn't a mistake waiting to happen, that he wasn't a straight-up disaster, that he could execute, that he could just distribute the ball humbly. Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code Cohn, C-O-H-N, and download the app now, like young Brock Purdy. Can Mac Jones do the same thing, or is he going to go out and play hero ball and throw a bunch of picks like one James Garoppolo? I'd love to see. Is this more Brock or more Jimmy? Or is it just Mac being Mac? I don't know. 7, Brandon Ayuk. Will he be there? I would imagine he would be. I mean, they pay him a lot of money. He's going to be rehabbing, right? So what's that look like? Is he running? Does he have a brace? Is he cutting? Is he running routes? Does he look like he's about to come back? Does he look like he's ahead of schedule or not? Does it look like he's part of the team? Does he want to be there? Is he happy? Brandon Ayuk watch. Is he wearing the right colored shorts? Or is he trying to stand out? Is he sitting by himself? Brandon Ayuk is always a lot of fun to observe because he seems like he's got his own thing going on. So will he be there? And then some competitions. Like, how about Jacob Cowing versus Jordan Watkins? A couple of 4th-round pick wide receivers. Jacob Cowing never really got a shot. Every time the coaches are asked about him, even a couple of weeks ago at rookie minicamp, Clay Kubiak was asked, so what about Jacob Cowing? Seems like he's improved. Is he going to get an opportunity this year? And they always say, yeah, if he earns it. And then they don't give him an opportunity. So it seems like they're not super high on him, or at least they haven't been, the coaches. And then they drafted another wide receiver in the same round the very next year, which makes you, I mean, if I were Jacob Cowing, I'd feel like, man, they're trying to replace me. So Does Jacob Cowan raise his game? Is he better than Jordan Watkins? We should see that in OTAs. They're going to both be out and running routes, catching passes in 7-on-7s. Who gets open? Who actually produces? Who's harder to guard? Cowan or Jordan Watkins? Cowan is smaller. They're both very fast. Who's better? Another competition. What about the two running backs, Jordan James and Corey Kiner? The Niners usually bring in two running backs at a time. One guy that they draft, one guy that they sign as an undrafted free agent. And often the second guy is better. Remember, they drafted Ty Davis Price and signed Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason took his roster spot quick. They drafted Joe Williams in 2017 and signed Matt Breida as an undrafted free agent. Immediately, it was clear, rookie minicamp, that Matt Breida was better than Joe Williams. One guy was in better shape. One guy was stronger. One guy ran harder and was faster, more explosive. Matt Breida. So will we see that in OTAs? I've seen them both in rookie minicamp. I couldn't really tell much of a difference. It wasn't like one guy was clearly explosive and one guy was not an NFL player. They both look like rookies. Will either one distinguish themselves in these OTAs or not? Because the Niners really are weaker at running back this year. Jordan Mason's a hell of a player. He's gone. One of these two guys needs to step up because you don't know what you're going to get from Christian McCaffrey. I would assume he'll be at OTAs looking terrific, but they better not overuse him this year because bilateral Achilles tendonitis is an overuse injury. Finally, this is kind of a random one, but I want to see who plays more, who's on the field. What is the base offense? Is it 12 personnel with Luke Farrell on the field, or is it 21 personnel with Kyle Juszczyk on the field? Because Luke Farrell's getting paid more money than Kyle Juszczyk. For the last 8 years, the Niners' base offense has been Juszczyk on the field. You know it. We know it. It's that I formation with him out there or him as an H-back going in motion. When they are in second and long or third down, then they'll bring in the third wide receiver. But they're almost never in three wide receiver formations if they're, winning or it's early in the game, it's first down. They got Juszczyk out there. Is that still how they function? Is that still how they line up? Because they cut Juszczyk, then they re-signed him, and they're giving him a little less than $4 million in cash this year. They also signed Luke Farrell, tight end, who's younger than Juszczyk, and he's going to get more than $6 million in cash, assuming he's active for all 17 games. He's got some roster bonuses in his contract. So they're more invested in the tight end. If you follow the money, you'd think, well, maybe they got big plans for Luke Farrell. Maybe they're going to do a lot more two tight end formations and sprinkle in the fullback formations because, I don't know, it seems like even with Juszczyk out there, the Niners are really much better at running towards Kittle's side than running away from Kittle's side. But if you had two tight ends in the game, maybe they could run to both sides equally as effectively. Just a thought. Haven't been able to do that in 7-8 years. So that's something I'll be looking for. Just the configuration and who plays more, Farrell or Juszczyk. That's 10 things. OTA start on Thursday. Stay tuned.